Last time, in the Silk Studio, we drew the widest possible ribbon between two groups. Today, we step outside, down a cobblestone lane, into the letter garden. Every morning, the mail arrives here. Most letters are genuine, written by real people, about real things. But a few are not. They shout. They promise prizes. They ask you to click. The postmaster can tell them apart in a heartbeat. Some letters smell of wildflowers, and some smell of cheap perfume. Our job today is to teach a small machine that same gentle instinct, using nothing more mysterious than counting words. This is naive Bayes, and it is one of the friendliest ideas in all of machine learning. Let's open the mailbag together. Import Pandas as PD. Our familiar ledger keeper arrives, then reacts, and 5,572 messages pour onto the table. Just 2 columns. A label, ham or spam. Ham simply means genuine, a real letter from a real person, and the message itself. Watch. Head. The first 5 letters step forward. You can already feel the difference, can't you? Okay, Lar. Joking with you only sounds like a friend. Free entry to win sounds like perfume. And value counts. Tells us something important. 4,825 genuine letters. 747 spam. Most mail is honest. Remember that number. It will matter later. It becomes our prior. Let's read the code together, gently, line by line. First, import Pandas as PD. That brings in Pandas, and gives it the short, friendly name PD. Next, pd.readcsv opens the file spam.csv. We pass encoding equals Latin 1 so every character loads safely, and with the double brackets, we keep only 2 columns, v1 and v2. Then, mail.columns equals label and message. We simply give those columns kinder names. Now 3 quiet prints. Mail.head shows the first 5 rows of the ledger. Mail.shape tells us the size. 5,572 rows, and 2 columns. And mail, label, value counts each kind. 4,825 ham, 747 spam. Our mailbag is open. Before we can count words, we have to make the words fair. To a computer, free in capitals and free in small letters are 2 different words. That's not what we want. So watch line by line. First. Lower. The letter dips into a lowercase bath. The shouting softens. Win becomes win. Next, the punctuation sieve sub keeps only letters and spaces. The exclamation marks fall away like little seeds. They were noise, not meaning. Then we close up the extra spaces, and the paper cutter taps down. 5 clean word cards remain. Win, free, money, click. Now, one last line. Apply, clean text, and every one of our 5,000 letters takes the same gentle bath. Take a moment here. Messy text in, tidy word cards out. Most of real machine learning is exactly this kind of quiet housekeeping. Let's walk through this little cleaning function together. First, import Python's pattern matching helper. Then we define clean text, which takes one message called text. Inside, line 1, text.lower. Every capital letter softens into lowercase. Line 2, re.sub replaces anything that is not a letter from A to Z, or a space, with a plain space. That's our punctuation sieve. Line 3, another re.sub squeezes any run of spaces down to 1, and .strip trims the edges. Then we return text, all tidy. Next, mail, message, .apply, clean text, runs the bath on all 5,572 messages, and stores them in a new column called clean. And the final print, win, free money, becomes simply, win free money. Click now. A machine cannot read words, but it can count them beautifully. So we build a pigeonhole wall. One small compartment for every unique word in the entire mailbag. 8,404 of them. Count Victorizer does the counting. Each letter becomes a long row of numbers. How many times did free appear? Twice. Win? Once. Meeting? 0. Most of the row is zeros, and that's perfectly fine. But notice something. Words like free only in some letters, while little everyday words appear in nearly all of them. Should they count the same? That's where TF-IDF comes in. Watch the wall. Rare. Telling words. Brighten. Common. Everywhere words. Gently dim. TF-IDF simply says, a word that appears in every letter tells us almost nothing. A word that appears in few letters is worth listening to. And one last line. Ham becomes 0. Spam becomes 1. Now every letter is numbers, and the mathematics can begin. Follow the lines with me. Slowly. First we import Count Vectorizer and FID Vectorizer from Sklern's text tools. Option 1. CountVec equals Count Vectorizer, with stop words set to English, so tiny filler words are set aside. Then xcounts equals CountVec.FID transform on mail clean. FID learns the vocabulary. Transform counts every word. The print shows the shape. 5,572 letters, by 8,404 pigeonholes. Option 2. FIDVec equals FIDVectorizer, again with English stop words, and x equals FIDVec.FID transform on the same clean column. This time rare words shine brighter than common ones. Finally, y equals mail_label.map, ham becomes 0, spam becomes 1, numbers in, labels ready. Now, the idea at the heart of it all, and I promise, it is only counting. Meet the brass balance scale. It has been weighing beliefs in this post office for 200 years. We begin with the prior what we believed before reading a single word. Yesterday, 100 letters arrived, 75 genuine, 25 spam. So before we open today's letter, the odds already lean toward genuine, 0.75 to 0.25. Then a single word arrives as evidence. Free. How often does free appear in spam? 15 out of 25 letters, 0.60. And in genuine mail? Only 3 out of 75, 0.04. Now the scale does its quiet work. Spam side, prior times likelihood, 0.25x 0.60 equals 0.15. Genuine side, 0.75x 0.04 equals 0.03. Watch the beam swing. The spam pan settles lower, and the posterior, our updated belief, is 0.15 divided by 0.15 plus 0.03, about 0.83. One word, and a letter that started 25% likely to be spam, is now 83% likely. That is Bayes' theorem. Begin with what you believed, weigh the new evidence, arrive at what you believe now. And why naive? Because the scale weighs each word as if the words never talk to each other, as if free and money arrived on separate trains. That's not quite true of language, but it is a beautifully useful simplification. It works far better than it has any right to. Let's read the card on screen, number by number. At the top, posterior is proportional to prior times likelihood. That's the whole recipe. The prior comes from yesterday's mail, 100 letters, 75 genuine, 25 spam. So P of spam is 0.25, and P of genuine is 0.75. Then the likelihood. The word free appears in 15 of the 25 spam letters, that's 0.60, and in only 3 of the 75 genuine ones, 0.04. Now we weigh both sides. Spam side, 0.25 times 0.60, equals 0.15. Genuine side, 0.75 times 0.04, equals 0.03. Divide, 0.15 over the total, and the posterior is 0.83. This is the scene I most want you to remember. Let's watch the machine think. One word at a time. A glossy letter arrives. 4 words. Free, win, click, claim. Before we read anything, the meter rests at our prior, 0.25. Most mail is genuine, after all. Now the first word, free, goes to the scale. It appears far more often in spam than in genuine mail, so the needle rises, 0.55. Second word, win, another word that loves the spam pile. The needle climbs, 0.71. Third, click. Genuine friends rarely ask us to click, 0.86. And claim, 0.95. The needle rests deep in the terracotta. Stamped, spam. Notice, no single word decided this. Each word only nudged the belief. 4 gentle nudges, 1 confident answer. Now watch the other kind of letter. Project, meeting, tomorrow. Project slightly more common in real mail. The needle eases down to 0.31. Meeting down to 0.18. Tomorrow 0.07. Stamped genuine. And off it flies to the garden. If this feels new, that's alright. Rest your eyes on the 2 rows of tags. Spam words push the needle right. Everyday words let it settle left. That is the whole algorithm, performed at the speed of thousands of letters per second. Let's trace the panel line by line, at a resting pace. Letter 1 reads, free, win, click, claim. We start at the prior. The meter shows 0.25. Way free. The meter rises to 0.55. Way win, 0.71. Weight click, 0.86. Weight claim, 0.95. And the letter is stamped spam. Now letter 2. Project meeting tomorrow. Weight project. The meter eases to 0.31. Way meeting. Down to 0.18. Way tomorrow. 0.07. Stamped genuine. And the 2 quiet lines at the bottom hold the lesson. Every word nudges the belief. No single word decides alone. Time to train. And by now, this rhythm will feel like home. Train test split. 80% of the letters stay here to teach. 20% wait behind the garden gate. Unread. The model must never peek at them. Stratify equals y simply makes sure both groups keep the same mix of genuine and spam. Then, multinomial NB. Multinomial simply means made for counted things like word counts. It's the right naive base for text. And model fit. Watch closely. There is no slow gradient descent here. No thousands of nudges. Training naive base is just counting for every word on 2 long scrolls. How often does it appear in spam? How often in genuine mail? Plus the 2 priors. That's why it trains in a blink, even on enormous mailbags. Counting is fast, and counting is all this is. Read along with me, line by line. We import train test split from Sklearn's model selection, and multinomial NB from Sklearn's naive base. Then the split, x train, x test, y train, y test, equals train test split of x and y test size is 0.2, so 20% waits behind the gate. Random state 42 keeps the shuffle repeatable, and stratify equals y keeps the ham to spam mix the same in both groups. Next model equals multinomial NB, with empty parenthesis. The defaults are fine. Then model.fit, with x train and y train. The counting happens here, in a blink. The prints confirm it. X train is 4,457 rows. X test is 1,115, both with 8,404 columns. A stranger's letter arrives, one the model has never seen. Congratulations, you have won a free prize. Click now to claim. Watch each line. First, the same cleaning bath as always. Lowercase, sieve, cut, 7-word cards. Then, and this line matters. Fit transform. Transform, not fit transform. The letter must be measured against the same pigeonhole wall the model learned from. A new wall would scramble every meaning. Then predict. The cards go to the scale. Free. 1. Prize. Click. Claim. Nudge after nudge after nudge. 99%. Stamped spam. Into the basket it goes. 1 line of code. And 200 years of the postmaster's instinct. Let's walk this letter through the code. Step by step. Line 1. New message holds the raw text. Congratulations. You have won a free prize. Click now to claim. Line 2. New clean equals clean text of new message. The same bath as training. Line 3. New vec equals fit vec.transform. With new clean inside a list. Transform. Not fit transform. The same wall. The same pigeonholes. Then prediction equals model.predict of new vec. Taking element 0. And probability equals model.predict proba. Element 0. Then element 1. The spam side. The first print says spam if prediction equals 1. Otherwise genuine. The second prints the spam probability to 2 decimals. And the output card reads. Spam. Spam probability. 0.99. Now the letters behind the garden gate. The ones the model has never read. Take their turn. 1115 letters. And here is the report. Laid out as a little planting bed. 963 genuine letters correctly delivered. 138 spam letters correctly caught. Beautiful. But look at the corners. 3 genuine letters. Stamped spam by mistake. False positives. And one of them is from Grandma. Take a moment here, because this is the lesson hiding inside the numbers. 11 spam letters sneaking into your inbox is a small annoyance. But Grandma's letter, lost in the spam bin, that's a real cost. In spam detection, a false positive usually hurts more than a false negative. That's why we read more than accuracy. Precision. Of everything we stamped spam, how much truly was? 98%. Recall. Of all the real spam, how much did we catch? 93%. And F1 holds them in balance. A good post office would rather let a little perfume slip through than lose a single letter of love. 1 line at a time. Softly. First, from Sklearn.metrics we import 5 helpers: accuracy score, precision score, recall score, F1 score, and confusion matrix. Then, ypred equals model.predictiveXTest. Every waiting letter gets its stamp. Print confusion matrix of ytest and ypred, and the grid appears. 963 genuine letters correctly kept. 3 false positives. 11 false negatives. 138 spam correctly caught. Then 4 gentle prints, each rounded to 3 decimals. Accuracy, 0.987. Precision, 0.979. Recall, 0.926. And F1 score, 0.952. Holding precision and recall in one com balance. Our postmaster deserves a rest, so let's wrap the day's work carefully. 2 parcels, not 1. The model, our brass scale with its scrolls of word counts, and the vectorizer, the pigeonhole wall itself. Here's why both matter. The model only understands rows of numbers laid out in the wall's exact order. Save the model without the wall, and tomorrow, no letter can be read, so they sit together on the shelf. Ribbon and wax, Spamital PKL and Spam Vectorizer PKL. Load them both. Clean a message. Transform predict. The whole post office. Reopened in 4 lines. Let's wrap the parcels together, line by line. First, import joblid, our careful packer. Then joblid.dump saves the model into spam model.pkl, and a second joblid.dump saves fidvec into spam vectorizer.pkl. 2 parcels, always 2. Later, anywhere, loaded model equals joblid.load of spam model.pkl, and loaded vec equals joblid.load of spam vectorizer.pkl. Now watch the last 2 lines. MSG equals loaded vec.transform, of clean text of, win a free prize now, the same bath, the same wall, and print loaded model.predictive MSG. The answer comes back as a 1, in brackets, which means spam. The post office wakes, remembers everything, and sorts again. Where does today's little scale live? Out in the world. Everywhere text needs sorting. Your email inbox, where this exact idea quietly protects billions of people every day. Text messages, where it catches the your parcel is held tricks. Help desks routing each request to the right stall. And reviews, where counting words reveals warmth or disappointment. Naive vase is rarely the fanciest model in the room, but it is often the first one tried, and surprisingly often, the one that stays. Simple, fast, honest, like a good postmaster. The mail is sorted, the parcels are shelved, and the garden gate stands open. Beyond it, a meadow, full of irises in 3 soft colors, and on the path, 1 flower with no name at all. Next time, we'll learn perhaps the gentlest idea in machine learning. When you don't know what something is, simply ask its nearest neighbors. Rest here a moment. When you're ready, the meadow is waiting. Episode 9. Complete. You taught a machine to read the morning mail, 1 honest count at a time. Sleep well, little post office. The meadow is next.